And
Hello,
there
hello,
is Mina.
Lexy.
Hello,
It
Mina.
is great to see you here.
Yeah, I love your glasses. You've got a leopard
Oh,
nose.
yeah, yeah, for the light. Yeah, I love yours too. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You
I've
are
got
always
like three different ones. I've got a red one, I've got a blue one, a brown black one. So what's Chris saying? I left you, but I'm getting dressed for date night with my wife. She might not appreciate me being live on Instagram at the moment.
what?
Well, you're doing great, going live. Hello. People are coming in, so that's good. So, our
Okay.
topic today, courage.
Yes, our topic is courage.
Hmm.
It is very, I think, powerful topic.
Why do you believe it's so powerful?
Uh, I think, okay, yeah, I think it's okay. The light is coming from there. I think it is reflecting in my glass. Um, what I mean by powerful is because courage is, I think, it asks us to be courageous even to be here, you know?
As in on
Courage
life
is,
or on the
yes,
internet or
absolutely. It might be easy for you, Lady Lexi.
I'm so
For
used
some
to
of
it.
us,
I'm so used to it.
it asks like it is for me also. For me, I can tell for myself. Yes, yeah, I have to be courageous enough to be here. So courage for me is like showing up. You know, like showing up for something you might not feel comfortable in that thing. You know, you might not feel like that is, for example, staying comfortable and being courageous are different things.
Yes, I
Yes, we
agree.
have to do it anyways. Sometimes telling the truth in awkward situation, it is very courageous action.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And for example, asking apology, admitting your mistake is like being courageous,
Yes.
being humble.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage to apologize, especially meaning it and apologize.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
The mere fact that
Absolutely.
people are even aware of, hey, I could have done this, that, or the other. I could have done it better. So let's say it. Let's express
Mm,
that. That
mhm,
takes, that's part of self-reflection, which takes a lot of guts. So yeah, I agree with
mhm.
you. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially in a relationship, you know, we
mhm,
can choose to be courageous and to be peaceful, or we can choose being right, you know,
mhm.
and argue about that thing. Arguing and fighting for our position, it is easy thing to do. Being humble and being humble and give, it is hard. It asks a lot of courage.
Yeah, being humble. I guess being humble also requires again that self-reflection. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what are we grateful about? I believe for me, being humble is related a lot of times to um, experiencing things after hard times. So
Mm-hmm.
things haven't been challenging, and then things are slowly on the mend again. And being able to experience whether it is freedom or people helping you out or things going in the right direction. Those are things
Mhm.
which usually lead for me to being humble. I don't know about you.
Mm. Absolutely, absolutely. What you are saying resonates with me. Absolutely. Because like being humble is not like because you are humble, you don't feel the pain. It doesn't mean that.
No, no, it's you can still experience the difficult times and be humble at the same time. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the awareness of how it can be, and also the awareness of, hey, things are progressing. That combination, for me at least, provides me with
Mm-hmm.
a feeling of being humble.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Absolutely. It makes sense.
yeah,
It makes sense. So, like, if you remember times that
yeah.
asked you to be courageous, like, do you have some time you can tell us, like, times you that asked you to be courageous, and you know?
Oh, I can give you plenty of times.
Okay.
I don't know how many examples you want, but I
Yes,
can
as
tell
much
you
as
being
you
able
can.
to of course I've been walking with crutches for like over 7 years, and
Mm-hmm.
the biggest part of walking with crutches, I wasn't capable of walking without them. So I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
able to stand on 2 feet at all. And when you're not
Mm-hmm.
capable of standing on 2 feet, that makes a whole big difference in the world, because how are you going to carry stuff from the grocery store?
Mm-hmm.
Just to list an example, how are you going to cook dinner? You can't. Because I had to lean against the stove, and leaning against lots of things, that's possible, but leaning against the stove, which is on fire, not the smartest thing
Mm-hmm.
to do. Traveling, likewise, when it came to traveling, I often had to ask people whether it was for directions or if to get or to give me a hand, or I learned to, just tap on someone's arm and then again and then again. And then after 3 or 4 times, they would look up and they say, sorry, but can you help me with? And then, oh, yeah, sure. And that's how
Uh-huh.
I learned that people who do not know me at all, so strangers basically, are very eager, or, well, eager need, but they're very willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but also the first time. IG Live. What's IG Live? How does that work? The first time was with
Uh-huh.
Carmichael.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, but well, I did it, and then he gave us the challenge, and now we are 5 months down the line, I suppose, maybe six, and it's become second nature. But the first time, and actually years ago, the first time in front of camera, I didn't like
Mm-hmm.
being in front of the camera. I'm always behind the camera, and that's a whole different ball game. And now I was in front of the camera, and I've gotten to learn that I actually like it. Once I get to
Mm-hmm.
chat, and I keep going.
Wow, that's beautiful. I know, like, you are really good at it, you know. You are, it is
Thank you.
like, you know, yeah, it is easy. And yeah, I can see that, like, you are really, you know, you are enjoying it. So that's great.
Yeah, I am. I
Absolutely.
am. And the fact that I said we're not going to do it too long today, that said something about how I'm feeling today. But
Uh-huh.
normally, and even when was it? Last Monday, last Wednesday, I don't know. I did a
Uh-huh.
long live two times in a row, and I was like, oh, what's going on? I wasn't supposed to do a long live, and here I was, and I think I did two 1 hour lives at least. And I think that was on Wednesday. I'm not sure. But yeah,
Okay.
that's me.
Yeah.
I just like it, you
Yes,
know.
absolutely. Yes,
Go ahead.
absolutely. I admire your courage also, like to take action, immediately.
Yeah, that's not courage. That's um, how would I say that?
Mhm.
It's knowing the consequences, I suppose. I mean,
Uh-huh.
first of all, nothing is going to happen if I don't, and second of all,
Uh-huh.
um, especially when there's a challenge involved, and I'm not
Uh-huh.
good at those challenges. It doesn't feel good not to be participating. I am someone who, it works for me to have an element of, what do you call it? You know, when there is something to, a competitive element, let's put it that way. I like a
Mhm.
little bit of
Mhm.
competitive element. So not so much as who's the first one to win, but I would like to be one of the winners. Let's put it that way. So
Okay.
I don't need to be in the top three, but I would like to say, okay, you give me a challenge. Okay, let's go for it, and at least have the idea that I tried and I put I did the effort for it. So that's
Mhm.
the second thing, and the third thing would probably be that um, after a while, knowing that I need to do it, I get
Mhm.
really, really, really restless. And with really restless, I mean, I start climbing the walls. I start doing circles backwards on the ceiling. And that's not the best feeling. Yeah,
Okay.
just imagine that you want to do circles backwards on the ceiling. And in the past, I had to do it with crutches. So
I think that is a great way of putting it. Is
yeah,
that literally or is that metaphor?
what?
You said like I started. If I don't do it, then
Yeah.
you just put yeah saying. I said, is that literal or is that like
Well,
metaphor?
I wouldn't be able to hang on the ceiling like a spider. So no, I'm not Spider Woman. So no, it's not literal. I can't hang upside down. I don't have special shoes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But
Uh,
it's the way it feels. It feels like I want to do something which is impossible. And some people call it an itch, like it's itching. For
uh-huh.
me, it's really becoming restless. So I really need to get going, and I might even get upset with myself. Um, so what I did is I adopted something called a virtual accountability partner.
Uh-huh.
So why virtual? Virtual because he or she doesn't exist. In my case, it's a he. It's just easier. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've got a picture on my phone, and there are two versions. There's one and that's smiling, and there's the one who's not smiling at all, who's
Uh-huh.
like, okay, here you go, come on, we're going to have a good talk. So,
Wow.
um, and it's I mean working so well that and basically I've got a number of things I want to do. So every day I get up and it's like, okay, what do I need to do? And then of course
Mm-hmm.
there are the day-to-day stuff things which need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And um, so what I need to do, I know what I need to do. I mean, it's not a question about what if I know what I need to do or what not. I've got my calendar on my phone. So there's a list of things that I really need to do that day when it comes to appointments, but I also know what's expected of me. So like
Uh-huh.
Evan has this challenge this month, of course, about courage. So every month he wants us to do 3 videos, including
Mm-hmm.
one or two with people we haven't been talking with before, and then
Uh-huh.
also do a lead magnet and do a solo video. I also know that every 2 weeks we talk we get a live with Evan, we talk, and he has this thing like, okay, you need to have an intro, you need to have a statement. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
start with a statement about courage because we're doing a live right now. I
Mm-hmm.
could have done it. So whenever I'm doing my own live, it's my goal to always start with a statement.
Okay.
So recently I've been doing a couple of videos about COVID, and I said, um, is COVID over and done with? Which is, an open question, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also a statement. Because a lot of
Uh-huh.
people are actually saying COVID is over and done with, especially now with the war in the Ukraine. Who cares about COVID? Yeah, well,
Mm.
I do in this
Yeah.
case. Besides having wanted to avoid it, and which I did for 2 years until I didn't last week. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's those little things. So I've got, and I believe that's not the the norm, but it's like I've. Do you know RoboCop or all those movies where you have those robots and then they have this list of directives? When they look
Mm-hmm.
through the eyes of their helmet. Well, for me,
Yes.
it's kind of similar. So in my head, there are always like these directives, like, okay, I need to be doing this or that's going to happen. So when I start making the video, before I do, I already start writing things down. Okay, what do I want to discuss, or do I just want
Mm-hmm.
it to be, very spontaneous, like today? I'm like, okay,
Yes.
just let it be spontaneous. But maybe later on, I'll be doing a short video about COVID because I'm like, okay, I've got COVID anyway. I might as well share with people how I'm feeling. And
You
then
got it?
I'll
You
use
got
those
it?
guidelines.
You got COVID now?
Yes, I've got COVID right now. That's why I'm
Wow.
wearing my glasses. If I'm wearing my glasses, I'm not feeling good.
Wow. Yes. Earlier this morning, earlier we were chatting, and I am feeling also like cold. And you were mentioning that you are going to get tested or something, right?
Well, I got tested. Last
You got
Wednesday,
tested?
I got
Okay.
tested. So I did 2 home tests on Monday and Tuesday morning, and those
Uh-huh.
were negative. But I was still like, because I know what I did last Friday, not yesterday, but the week before, Friday
Uh-huh.
night. So I knew that if there had been a chance, it probably would have been on that day because the Netherlands was open for a week for nightclubs.
Uh-huh.
And a friend of mine said, let's go to the gay bar. And I was like, well, not too long because Evan was on his gaming channel. And for those who are wondering, who is Evan? Who the heck is she talking about? I'm talking about Evan Carmichael, the
Uh-huh.
YouTube expert who does all these videos about how to monetize money with YouTube. And he also
Uh-huh.
has this gaming channel, something with Minecraft. Don't ask me about it. No, I don't know about it. Um,
Okay.
I'm kind of old-fashioned in that way. So, but
Mm-hmm.
anyway, yeah, I went there. I had a great time. We were dancing. I was dancing on a bar stool because I still can't dance, on the floor.
Uh-huh.
I was like next to the door, which was constantly open. There was a table in between me and the next one. People in front of me were dancing, but there was distance between me and them. And still, I got it. So after 2 years, there it was. So I did have a
Mm-hmm.
great time. I do have to say, had I known what I learned after calling the guy from the club, I probably wouldn't have done it. So on one hand, I had a great time. We great music, all that stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
just great music, and I can already entertain myself. But had I known it was like a big COVID pool,
Oh.
no, I wouldn't have gone there. I wouldn't have gone
Mm-hmm.
there. The moment that he said, "Congratulations, you're one of many," I get a call every week. I was like, "Oh my God." I wouldn't have gone there at all. So, and I've been very careful, these last 2 years. And I guess I'm in luck because I've got medications anyway. So,
Mm-hmm.
I have to use these for my lungs and I've got something else for my nose.
Oh.
So, But you know, I was finally feeling good again.
I think yes. Now, now I don't know how you are feeling inside, but when I see you, like you are vibrant, you know, like.
Yeah, yeah, that's I what I can do is I can basically turn off not feeling good.
Uh-huh.
I'm a master at turning off not feeling good. So by the time people can actually see that I'm not feeling good, that's not good. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm so used to experiencing discomfort at some level, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's pain in one of my joints or whether it's a headache or you name it. That's part of my life. I've got Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS, and that means that um, every day I get up and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm feeling good. And sometimes I get up and it's like, did I drink enough water yesterday? Not sure. So then I'll start the day with a headache. And in
Mm-hmm.
times like these, and I've got times like these, it's not COVID for me, but having this cold, which leads to sinusitis. Um, yeah, I experience them a couple of times a year. And I had them, the last time I was during Christmas and New Year's Eve, and a couple of weeks still lingering on.
Mm-hmm.
And that was bad. I had a
Mm-hmm.
major headache. Like, okay, this is now I know why people sometimes want to say, okay, I'm done. And there was one night actually, and I'd forgotten about it. And I was like, oh my God, if I don't get up in the morning, I understand why. And I was really like,
Mm-hmm.
this headache was so severe that I was, this is not good. But I was like, okay, it'll pass, and it did pass. But that felt, having felt that raw at times, this is peanuts. But I do know that I need to get back and lay down in a little bit again. And while we are talking, I mean, sweat is on my back. I've got it's hot for me in here, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
where's my air conditioning? And it's not that hot over
Mm-hmm.
here at all. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I'm feeling. So I know my system, my whole physical body is fighting it. But despite that, I can literally switch that off. So it's in the back of my mind. But I'm now talking to you, and we are on this
Okay.
live. We're talking about this immense, fun topic, and not just fun, but also important. Um,
Absolutely.
and I love talking to people, and that's what you're
Same
about
here.
too. And also,
Absolutely. Same here.
I'm Chatterbox too. So, and not being able to talk to anyone right now, it's nice to finally, interact with
Yeah.
someone. So it's, maybe I don't know if that has to do with courage or not. I think it's, the courage is getting back up again after. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the easy part for me. For me, it's the easy part, like, okay, let's go live, go do stuff. The hard part becomes not just going for a walk outside, which of course I can't do until I don't have any symptoms anymore, or
Mm-hmm.
until we are 4 days later. So 10 days from the
Yeah.
first day that you've got symptoms. So I'm vaccinated. So basically, I could already go outside when I'm 24 hours symptom free, which I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Mm-hmm.
it's 10 days in total. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so I've got a few
For
days to go.
you, as a people person, as a person who likes to speak to other people, I know it's going to be challenging for you.
Well, we are talking right now.
Yes, I mean, like, of course, yes. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got that
yeah,
part.
yeah.
I
We are
think.
we are interacting. We are having a great
Absolutely.
conversation. And I mean, like
Absolutely.
40 years ago, this wasn't possible.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I
So
agree.
every day, and then it comes about being grateful and possibly about being humble. I think back about remember those days when for the first time there was satellite television, and we would know when there was thunder and lightning because then we would get all these rocks on the television, or that you would hear those beeps from the phone when they were testing it at all and all that stuff. You know, the first time that we had
Absolutely.
satellite phones and the big ones, and computers, same story. I mean, 3 gigabytes of storage for computers back in the day, that was 2 rooms of where I'm sitting right now. And now it's on
Absolutely,
a
yes.
little stick. So,
Yes.
yeah,
There are
so,
a lot of things to be grateful about. Absolutely.
yeah, and there's power,
Absolutely.
So when it comes to courage, what's going to be my biggest challenge is not so much going outside and going for a walk. It will be to get on my bike when it's cold, like freezing temperatures here, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't like that, and it might really hurt my head. And also to be boxing again. So I love to go boxing. I do it with my therapist. I've got 2 physical therapists, and on Fridays I do it with the wife, and on Tuesday I do stability exercises with the husband. So stability exercises are easy. Well, they're challenging, but they're easy. They don't. I have to sleep afterwards, but it's not that tiresome. But when I go
Ah, okay.
boxing, it can actually cost me a couple of days of headaches, um, really feeling tired, having to sleep and,
Mm-hmm.
and, and regaining strength again. And that's um, when it comes to courage, I suppose that's one thing that really is that I need to tell myself, no, get back up again, just go do it, and we'll see what happens. And if it's not
Mm.
working, no, well, next week another chance.
Yes, yes. I think that's very courageous, like moving out of your comfort zone and then doing what you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
especially exercise. Yes, it asks a lot of courage. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
So for me, I guess that courage can be divided in what's it basically costing me. So is it costing me um, maybe embarrassment, like okay, I make some stupid mistakes on the video or all that stuff. I
Uh-huh.
might come across clumsy. Well, good thing is, and then I come back to Evan, but also other people like Brendan Burchard say it. There's no such thing as perfectionism. I mean, and one of
Absolutely.
the things that really has helped me, what Evan said was, if I look back on my YouTube videos from like 20 years ago and I look at them now, there's such a big difference, and you can actually see your growth. But when it comes to physical um, problems, as in
Mm-hmm.
it's really a setback. So always say there are two types of pain. There's pain because you've done a lot, maybe a little bit too much, but it's not having a long-term effect. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very familiar with that kind of pain. And then there's the pain of, oh my God, I've done too much and I've gone back like 2, 3, 4 weeks in time, maybe even half a year in time. So there's an injury which needs fixing, and I need outside help. And the
Mm-hmm.
latter I've experienced too. That's something and that's when it comes to boxing. It's not like I need
Mm-hmm.
outside help, but it's like, okay, is this what I want to
Yeah,
put myself through? Um,
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
do you have for your sort of boundaries for yourself, limitations where you say, okay, this is courage, it's take courage, but it's doable, and this takes courage, but if it doesn't succeed, then that.
Yes, absolutely. For me, like it is especially recently
Hmm.
after my mom passed away, as we discussed last time. I had very challenging time. Like it was after I had my baby daughter also, and I think like I was depressed at the time. Like I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling anxiety, a lot of things. I have to be courageous to call to help. Like I have to be go out of my comfort zone and then call to school, and then I say like I couldn't function normally, so I need help. you know I couldn't get up and do normal things properly. Like I feel fatigue, I feel like very different person I become. So I understand that is how depression feels. I understand that's how being fearful, having anxiety,
Yes.
feels. Even I started having like breakouts, over all over my face, a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, because I was staying inside, and I used to feel like fearful, very fearful, because I feel like, for example, when my husband go outside with the kids, I get scared, like, because when my mom passed away, she just say goodbye properly. Like, I didn't expect she would pass with that speed. I know she is sick, but I didn't expect that could happen like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like very, still very challenging experience. But now I know, like, I can handle. I am in a good in a good what do you call place now. I am in a better place. At least I know, like, I can handle myself. I can handle the kids. But it has takes a lot of courage to ask for help. Our last topic was support. We were saying about this too. So I think courage and support goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Terry Thompson, I talked to him about courage, and he says he made this remark, and I believe that's true. It's about fear in combination with vulnerability, and being vulnerable. So basically, being able to ask for support, saying I can't do it anymore on my own.
Yes.
That part that requires a lot of courage. And nowadays, for me, that's kind of normal. I mean, I'm so used to asking for help like daily. And even now I'm capable of walking to a degree again. I still
Mm.
don't have the speed others have. So when people are walking next to me, I always have to say to them, okay, slow down. And when I run into a group of people, I'll come to a halt, literally, and I'll look at the people, and they're like, oh, what had just happened there? Someone stopped. She's not moving anymore. And what
Wow.
that people catch it from the corner of their eye when there is movement and stops all of a sudden.
Uh-huh.
So, or vice versa, of course. But I stop and I just look at them, and at some point, someone will pick up that I'm not walking on, and
Uh-huh.
then they'll I'll be able to communicate, and they'll go, from one another,
Uh-huh.
and I can go on. And when I was walking with crutches, that was way easier for me. Hi, Stella. One of the challenges actually was to walk without those crutches, so far less visible. And that's one of the reasons, and I'll admit to that, that when it's crowded, I prefer putting on my knee brace nowadays. So first, the crutches were for my ankle, but I molested my knee, so now I've got a knee brace, and one on the way, second one. So I put it on because if I move abruptly, that's going to be a problem because then I can't go anywhere. Then I'm stuck literally where I am.
Wow.
But also, um, it's easier for me if people see it, so I don't need to verbally ask. They can just see, oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Or can
Mm-hmm.
just point out, I'm not wearing a brace for fun. It looks
Mm-hmm.
like fun
Mm-hmm.
because it's got stars and stripes on there, but there's reason for it. So
Mm-hmm.
and so when it comes to courage, and this is the thing, what I've noticed when and I notice a difference when I'm with people. So like for instance, I've got all these food allergies. So whenever I go to a restaurant, I will go and I will talk to the chef or whoever it is, and before I start to order or maybe even sit down, I might ask, okay, what can we do? And that's the difference because the other person is going to display embarrassment. That's funny. So for me, it's vulnerability, as in asking and again, I'm used to it. So for me, it's not being vulnerable at all anymore. But the other person
Okay,
is
so
faced
Lady
embarrassment.
Lexi, sorry, Lady Lexi, I missed something between. So the last sentence, could you repeat that? So, for some people, it is embarrassment. For you, it is
Yeah, so
normal.
so for instance, one of the things when I'm asking for support, whether it is because I need people to do something for me, to hand something over because of the crutches or not being able to walk, or not
Mm-hmm.
wanting to go around people, or whether it is because of food allergies. I've got a lot of food allergies. So whenever I go into a restaurant, especially when I haven't called before, I will talk to the chef or the waitresses or whoever is there, to this to talk about, okay, can I eat here or can I not eat here? It
Uh-huh.
starts with that first one, and then of course with every course we might have to discuss what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for me, I know. So it's not about even being vulnerable. It's normal. But for the ones who are not used to it, which is the company I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
they usually are embarrassed. So just think about this. You have two people. One of them needs help. The other one is with them. And the one who needs help and needs to muster up the courage is basically being hindered by the other one, or is being helped by the other one. So either the other one is going to support you and say, okay, I'm going to take care of you. I know you need support because you have food allergies. Or the one is going to say, well, you know what? I'm not here. Wasn't me. I'm not part of this company, and and all that stuff. So they feel embarrassed, and um, that's kind of peculiar if you think about it. How
Mm-hmm.
courage and vulnerability and support is perceived.
Absolutely.
Have you ever
Uh,
experienced something similar?
yes, actually, when you were telling it that way, you remind me of myself. For example, in friendships, some person can be seen like, oh, she's like, positive and courageous always, and she knows what she wants. So people ask you for help, you know
Hmm.
and you try to be always courageous, try to be always positive, try to be like that person who is like, who try to bright up everybody. And then by the end of the day, you might not ask them back because you think they think like you have it all or something.
Hmm.
And then even if you try to share, I have this kind of challenge, and they just point out this, you do this, you do that, why are you even complaining, you know but you are helping them,
Hmm.
you are there, you advise them whenever they have challenge, you try to figure out things for them,
Hmm.
you know but when you have challenge, if you even try to ask, they just say, you have this person, you have this family, like, why are you even complaining about this?
Hmm.
Then I have this kind of experience, and I started questioning, like, what is the purpose of this friendship then?
Yeah. So who's complaining? Are they complaining or are you complaining?
Okay, it is a friendship.
Hmm.
I try to like help.
Yeah, and
I
they are
help.
complaining.
I advise, if they have a challenge or something.
Hmm.
And then when I have something, even when I start talking about it,
Hmm.
I hear opinion about, like, you have this, you have your husband, you have your kids. What are you talking about? Then I say, okay, I just leave it alone. I am not going to ask for
No,
help.
it's not a balanced friendship. So you help them out whenever they need it, and then when you need some support and some guidance, it's like
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's, and that's, I guess that's sort of a risk of being the strong one all the time. When you are the
Yes.
strong one all the time, then people, they forget that sometimes you are the one who needs support as well. Because you might be the first one to ask, "Oh, how are you doing? What do you need? Oh, let me help you." And that's part of being a giver.
Mm.
Maybe even being a people pleaser. It could also be because you're used to it, it's your job, or it's just you, who you are. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
even we as people um, need some support as well. And it's actually a great example what you're saying. So when people would be saying something similar to you, like, who are you to complain about this? You have this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
It takes courage to actually say, yeah, that might look like I have, or that's true, but have you
Mm.
considered that even though I do have, that just maybe there are some things I cannot do alone because, and how that
Mm.
makes me feel. So a lot of people, and then we get to the topic of communication,
Mm-hmm.
need
Mm-hmm.
some extra words. Like, okay, we don't see it at first. Hey, there's Angela. Angela, if you want
Mm-hmm.
to talk about courage with us, you're always welcome to join. You
Yes,
know how it works. We
absolutely.
don't need to tell you. You're the expert. Um, but yeah, so then we get back to communication again, as in, um, do we expect people to understand what we are trying to get across? So when we are saying to them, we need your help, do we actually say the words, we need your help? Or do they
Mm-hmm.
only hear like, oh, this is not good, that's not working, so that must be complaining? No,
Oh.
you're probably not complaining, or maybe it comes across as complaining, but you do so with a purpose. And sometimes the purpose is simply to complain. It could be true.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I were to be complaining, then I would say, and people would say to me, I say, yeah, yeah, I just want to vent. That's it. I want to vent. I just want to complain for a few minutes here. So let me
Mm-hmm.
complain. And then you can say this, that, and the other, and you can say stop. But now I want to, you know? But if
Yes,
that's what you
wow.
want,
Yes, for me, for me, I just try to handle my negative feeling because I don't want to download my negativity to them. But when they have challenge, they just bring it, and then I am there listening, something like that. I think there must be balance there, as you said. There must be balance, and if it is one person is helping, the other is bringing some kind of challenge, then
hmm
as you mentioned, it is going to be burden for the other person, and it is not going to be mutual friendship as well.
yeah, some people have their strong suits in certain things and other ones in other areas. So that
Yes.
might make up for the balance. As
Mm-hmm.
for complaining, whenever I complain, and yes, I do complain myself. I'm human after all. Uh,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I try to end on a positive note. And once people get to notice that sometimes it's getting that frustration out of the way, and then you can laugh about it, or you can laugh
Mm-hmm.
together about it. And when you are capable of turning it the other way around, whether it's you yourself or the other one is, it's a
Mm-hmm.
whole different ballgame compared to saying you're complaining. No, okay, so let's vent, get it out, and now what are you going to do about it? You know, and that's a whole different approach. And then usually when you say, well, what can you go do about it? Then usually it's already a little bit lighter and easier because then you
Mm-hmm.
realize, oh yeah, I probably already did this, that, and the other. Well, maybe it's not that bad, or maybe it is, and maybe I just need to do something else. So it's um, how you continue it on, and if the other one just runs away, um, that tells you something about them. And you
Mm-hmm.
can actually speak about it with the other one. Like, hey, I'm trying to tell you something. It's not going good with me. I'm not okay. To help me out here. You know, the first time, and I know I'm talking right now. I'm a little bit like a chatterbox. But the first time I had my birthday, so last Monday was my birthday. So the year before, I was half century old, and the month before, yeah, it's the way it is. So the month before, my
You look so young, though. Really, really.
thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's why it's such a well-known secret, you know. Um, but anyway, my mom had passed away the months before. So my dad had already died 9 years prior to this, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, okay, so no more mom, no more dad, no one to go to,
Uh-huh.
and of course it was. Well, there were two things. Of course, the bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, still, yeah, this is happening to me too. It might be COVID. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't know sneezing was part of COVID, but it's one of my symptoms. Allergies, of course, cause sneezing too, so it could be a
Mm-hmm.
number of things. I actually thought I was suffering from an allergy because the birch trees are out right now. They're blossoming, or the birch tree buds are out, I probably have to say. Um, so, and I'm allergic to birch trees, so I've got a combination of things going on. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I knew it was a specific number. And there you go again. Bless
Thank
you.
you.
And also it was the first time around without them. So I asked around. I basically said to my friends, listen, I'm not one to really celebrate my birthday a lot, but I do need some support now. And
Sorry.
tomorrow we have sunshine. 3 times means tomorrow we have sunshine.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. So uh, a bunch of friends actually said, "Yeah, you can come over." And one of them, she actually made a video this year. She did the same last year, and she actually got people from all over the world to record
Uh-huh.
videos, and she edited them. And it was like 15 minutes of one surprise after another one for me. And of course, this was during
Wow.
COVID. It was the first year that we had COVID, and it was like.
Sorry,
Um,
is that it was your video?
Yeah, she had made me a video. So we were
Okay.
here into COVID last year,
Uh-huh.
and she had asked all these people, whether it was from the US or the Netherlands or wherever in the world, to record a
Uh-huh.
little bit for me. And she edited
Oh.
all together. And some were playing on the piano, some were singing, other were playing on the guitar, or they were doing both.
Wow.
Some were just saying things out loud. And I know I was there and I was a little uncomfortable, like, okay, we're not supposed to travel, we're supposed to be in our bubble, all that stuff. And I was like, no, I'm going to see you anyway. I need a friend, and she's my tour buddy. We go everywhere
Yeah.
together.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she had arranged for this. And I can tell you how special that made me feel.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by sometimes you need to ask people like, okay, help me out here because I can't do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
um and and then this year I
Yes.
didn't ask for it, but she made another video. This time she made it herself, and she didn't ask other friends, but it was amazing.
Wow,
So
that's nice. Yes, like knowing what makes you happy also, that's I think a big thing, you
yeah,
know?
but also I don't know what would have happened if I had to go through it alone. I mean, it was 4 weeks, 5 weeks after my mom had passed away. I was
Uh-huh.
basically, as other people said, I'm an orphan. It always sounds a little weird, but yeah, at some point we're an orphan. That's the way it is. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
have any kids. So a couple of weeks later, well, that was prior to my birthday. I also lost one of my cats, and he was the cuddly one. So, it was a
Oh.
little bit much. And
Hmm.
compared to other people, it's still a walk in the park what I experienced. But yeah, at that point I said I can't go through this alone. Please help me out.
Hmm.
And
Wow, you are
when it
brave.
comes to courage, that must have been one of the more harder tasks for me.
Yes, that is very courageous. Like asking what you want, of course, that is very courageous.
Yeah.
I think what made it for me challenging was my mom was sick like for a while, for a year.
Hmm.
And before that, I remember like, when there is something, I am always there to help, with a friend, everything. If they want someone to babysit, I just bring the kid, don't worry, I can play with my kids. Even I don't consider it like, big thing.
Hmm.
And then when my mom gets sick, and when that person doesn't have even one day from a full year, and when after I get birth and I have this kind of roller coaster emotionally, then I started thinking like, wow, I was super down by that time. When I was okay, I make coffee, everybody comes, we have fun, we gather around. And then when I have that challenge, I felt lonely for sure,
Yeah.
except like one or two friends.
Yeah.
I felt really lonely. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I,
that
I
was
get you.
very.
I get you. And that's when you get to know your friends, and it's there is one true thing. The way you let your friends treat you, that's the way you get treated.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
of course there's also the way they are. So some people they they'll help you out no matter what. You are one of
Absolutely.
those
I
people. You'll
agree.
help others out no matter what,
I
and
agree. Yes.
and they'll see it. So whenever it's needed, that's when they step up to the plate and they are there. And then there are those people who don't think about it, and those are the people I was talking about. They treat you the way you let them treat you. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't tell them
Absolutely.
anything, then why should they take anything concerning you into consideration? Oh my God, do you have
Absolutely.
free time of yourself that you need? Oh, you have a little one. You want to do grocery shopping. Oh, you want to clean your house. Oh, you want to go for a walk. Really? Now we want to, and that's when that we need you. And that's when we drop off our kids. But you needed to. Nah, that can't be true. You can do anything. You don't need us.
Absolutely.
And it's
Absolutely.
exaggerated, but you get what I want to get across. And I use this phrase a lot of times, this statement, and that's that
Uh-huh.
because I can thing. I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it because I say it rather easily, but I don't like it when people use it actually for the wrong reasons, because I can. And a lot of
Uh-huh.
people, especially narcissistic people, because they don't get any people, contradicting them,
Mm-hmm.
speaking out. I don't agree with you. They just
Mm-hmm.
keep on going, and they maybe putting people down and all that other stuff. And that's the difficult thing when it comes to this time. Hi, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe knows it like no other one.
Mm-hmm.
That the because I can. It
Hello.
could be about people who do cyberbullying. So when I was on this live just recently, I was talking about Amanda, the girl who got bullied. I think she had a boyfriend, and she had sent these pictures of herself, and then the boyfriend, when they broke up, he published it or he showed it to his friends, and they
Oh.
showed it, and they sent it on and on and on and on. And of course, she felt embarrassed, and then at some point, she tried to kill herself, even ending
Oh.
up using it like bleach or laundry detergent. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
work. And this was the horrible thing. Then they said, "Oh, you couldn't even do that right," and in the end. yeah. And in the end, it was over and done with. So there's this video, and you actually see her putting all those cards one by one, what's happened. And this is the thing. Why did they do it? Because they can. It's like a group spirit. It's a group phenomenon. So one person won't do it, but then the other joins and the other one joins, and they get a courage together, and then it's sort of the norm. And let's be honest here, and maybe I'm going to be very wrong to some people out there. But we know there are countries out there where we as women are not worth anything at all. And I mean, even dogs are worth more than we are. I'm just saying it the way it is. And why is that? Because they have been raised in this culture where it's normal that women don't mean anything. They don't want their brains. They just want their looks. And that's about it. And all they want to do is control them. And that's why they marry the kids maybe as young as 14 years old or younger. Of course, the parents, they give the kid away because they earn money that way. And for the other one, it's good. And I mean, especially when you're like 20, 30, 40 years older, because they can control the kid. And if you think about it, why does it happen? Because it's the norm over there. They don't know any difference. And fortunately, in this day and age, we can change a lot of things. But,
Yes.
it's always like, when is someone going to stand up?
Yes. Sorry for the interruption. That one, at least you understand it. You can recognize because of this culture thing, this happened. You might recognize. But friends, it is not something, it is like you are friends. You don't go therapy together or anything. You are friends, and then when something happens, you say like, oh, because this happened to her, because we make excuses, because we spend a lot of time with our friends, we become loyal for them.
Yeah.
And then we become loyal, and then we accept whatever they bring us.
Yeah.
Even it is worse than marriage. Marriage, you might get divorced. With your friends, it takes a lot of time even to recognize that, because we accept it like that.
Yeah, and that's understanding the brain. It's understanding mindsets. It's understanding influence. And what does it? I mean, maybe if you do the wrong things, it can give you status. It can give you money, an easier way to live. Doesn't make it right. Or you can choose the hard road, be honest, not earn as much money, have to stand up to other people, It's always like choices. And what if your friends are choosing one direction and you want to go the opposite direction? That's not easy. And
it is not, yes.
And then we get back to courage.
Absolutely. Even if you spend a lot of time with your friends, your family knows your friends. Everybody knows your friends. And then when your friends is not around, like, where is she? What happened? And then, like, there will be burden around that area. Then we just accept whatever they bring to us. So that I learned a lot with my own life as well. Because I give it, okay, because this happened to her, I pass it. Even when they say something, I say, I just rationalize, because of this thing. But after a while, it is hurting, it is hurtful, some of the things. And then I get to decide, like, it asks a lot of courage also,
Yeah, absolutely. And especially going against the norm, that requires a lot of courage. I mean, just look at the HBTL community. That requires a lot of courage, telling people what you're feeling and getting accepted. And in some countries it's getting easier, and in some countries it's not. I mean, and there are so many things happening all over the world, and that's what I love about what's going on right now in Russia. So Putin, of course, is the one who's giving the orders, but there are a lot of people in Russia who are like, yeah, but we don't want to participate. You wanted us to join. You said that it was for these reasons. We are going to do tests and I don't know whatever. But we are here and you want us to do something we don't agree with. And nowadays,
Yeah.
they stand up. And that's probably one of the reasons why he didn't get where he wants to be right now in the Ukraine. And that's, you know, if we compare it to, for instance, World War II or the First World War, then you can actually see there are people and they're sharing their stories. They're going on
Mhm.
TikTok, they're going on Twitter, they're going on social media, they're going and they demonstrate in the streets and they might get like 15 years or longer as a sentence, but they do speak up. And that, if we talk about courage, that's courage.
Mm.
And of course, courage comes in
Absolutely.
all sorts of shapes and sizes. I mean, for
Mm.
us, courage can be talking about this. I mean, I don't feel completely comfortable about this, but then again, I do know the importance of this being said.
Mhm.
But in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, so who's monitoring this? Who's listening to this? Who has ears? You know?
Mm. Yes, I understand. I understand. Some part, as we said, it asks a lot of courage, even to evaluate, to reflect our life. Uh, Pause and look. Like
Yeah,
sometimes we
exactly.
just go, 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 and
Mm,
then by the end of the day, it is a lot already.
yeah, true.
So it asks like having inventory, what's going on in our life. I think that's very helpful.
Yeah.
For myself, I have a habit of when I celebrate my birthday, I ask myself like, what good thing happened this year?
Mm-hmm.
What lesson I should learn? What lesson I learned from this year? What
Mm-hmm.
was positive thing, what was the negative thing, or my lesson for
Mm-hmm.
life. I consider even if in my relationship with other people, it is showing me the value I have for myself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I've come to not wait for those days. So of course, you know, New Year's Eve is always a special thing, and so are birthdays. But um, you know, not having been able to walk for so long normally,
Mm-hmm.
probably once a week at least, you will hear me say like, "Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. You see me walking here, you know." And it's time and time again that I'm like in awe. Hey, I can do this. Oh, I can get, you know, just a little bit further. Oh, I did it
Wow.
just a little bit quicker, you know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
the instant realization, like, oh, I can do this, or this was great, or hey, I've done this, you know, not,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it's probably good to pause and look like daily, maybe even a couple of times a day, and getting back to Evan again, yes. For those who are now joining, we're talking about Evan Carmichael, the YouTube expert. So he has this saying, and I love it. And I
Yes.
mistakenly called it pillow talk,
We
but it's
are
pillow
doing
test.
challenge, courage challenge. We are doing.
Yes, we are doing the courage challenge. So he has this thing,
Yes.
and he calls it the pillow test. And like I said, I always keep forgetting, so I changed it into pillow talk. And actually, that works fine for me because it's the conversation you are having when you're lying down on your pillow.
Uh-huh.
And so it's about, okay, what did I do today? What could I have done better? What's the one thing I might be able to still do today? So you get back up again and you might be doing it. That's actually how I started doing my videos. You know, it was like
Wow.
just before I wanted to turn in, I was like, yeah, but I didn't do that video, and I promised to shoot that video. I promised myself. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go live, and I'm going to do it anyway.
Wow.
And that's especially a couple of years ago was the first Christmas challenge I did. I
Uh-huh.
remember really like, okay, I promised myself I would go out there every day, and I'm not sure if people are going to watch it, but I'm going to do it nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also due to that question. So now when I wake up, um, and depending on whether I have to run because I've got appointments, but when I don't, I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? So usually I know my schedule ahead of time. But
Mm-hmm.
then I'll think, okay, what is it I want to do? When can I do it? What are the circumstances? What's the weather like? You know, what do I have to do today? When do I have time? What day is it? What can I expect? And then I'll see how I can fit it in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I think that is a good way of life, like asking yourself every single day and evaluating yourself how you are feeling. I think that is a great way of life, really.
yeah.
Like giving time to reflect. I am learning now, like even I started doing meditation. It is still challenging for me
Hmm.
to do it, but still, like I am teaching myself.
Hmm.
Even taking time to listen what's going on inside.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we have like a lot of chatter, to just name it with something else, like to watch TV or, do something for somebody else, then we
Yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
know all the things you can do, varying from games, doing other stuff. But one of the things that was most helpful for me was when I had my first burnout. I did Zen meditation.
Uh-huh.
So we sat down on the ground, and sometimes we would walk in a circle. Um, but basically, what we did was sit down, legs crossed, fingers like this,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we would count our breath. That was like one,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3. Oh, the weather today was, oh yeah, okay, 1, 2. Oh yeah, and I was supposed to, oh, 1, 2, and then at 9, I almost made it to 10. Okay, back to 1.
Oh, wow.
So it was every time from 1 to 10, and then you start at 1 again, and then if you didn't make it, no, you start again at 1. And
Wow.
just and I've done a lot of meditational courses, also
Uh-huh.
mediumship courses, and basically what you're doing is um, you're stopping the chatterbox, which is your conscious mind, and that's the one who's always worrying, like, are we good enough? Aren't we
Mm.
supposed to do this, that, and the other? And what if? Versus the one that really matters. So that's the part of the iceberg that's underneath the surface of the sea,
Mm-hmm.
and that gets a chance to actually come to the surface at that moment. But to do so, we have to shut down the other one by
Mm.
boring it. Basically, boring it. And it's kind of fun if
Absolutely.
you think about how it works. And now I can basically go anywhere. I can be at a festival terrain with thousands of people, loud music. I can sit near a fence and I can just like go down.
Wow, yeah, that is like great skill to have, Yes. Since, like I am people person,
Hmm.
uh, after the COVID, I have to stay home and I am even learning about myself, like what kind of person I am,
Hmm.
to be with myself, also learning to be with myself, listening what's going on. And even after after like 10 months ago, I mentioned what I had, the challenge, everything, the roller coaster feeling.
Hmm.
And by that time, when I was listening to myself, I learned that even I didn't grieve my biological mother's grief. She passed away when I was 6 years old, but I thought, like, when I was a kid, if I complain about that, people will think, like, why don't you be grateful? Your grandma is here, somebody else is here. Why do you even complain about that? I think in my mind, like, okay, if I say this, people will get offended. So I don't talk about it, how I feel. I just stuff it there. And when my mom passed away 10 months ago, everything come up. My grandmother passed away like 3 years ago. My biological mother, when she passed away, she was 25 years old. She was very young. And I used to think I will die when I am 25.
Yeah, that happens more often. Yeah, I know. And then when you have a kid at 25, that's a problem.
Yes, and I said, okay, I might die this age early. And then I might die then. I don't live properly. I am expecting to go one
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
And then I even learn about this pattern when I have time, like I sit and then I ask what had happened. And this kind of realization came to me, like, oh my God. So
Hmm.
now, learning to accept that, learning to accept what happened, and realizing we don't have much time on this earth. So we
Hmm.
have to do something that matters to us.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that you're talking about is basically Pandora's box. And of course, a lot of things back in the days, there wasn't time to grieve. There wasn't time to think about it. Think when we rebuilt
Yeah.
everything after World War II. I mean, and when you basically have to fight every day to survive, then you won't have time to grieve because all you can do is survive.
Mm.
So, and then of course, things
I
back
think
then were
it's
normal. I mean, people had big families, and it was normal that during childbirth a parent could die or the child could die, and that's why they had big families. That was one of the reasons. Of
mm,
course, there was no conception or anti-conception, so that was another reason. But it's all related to one another. Now we
mm,
know that when you are young and you lose your child at a certain age, that by the time that either your child is that age or when you have the child of the parent, when you lost your parent, and that you're like, oh my God, what if I'm going to die at that age as well?
yes.
And that's when you know, okay, there's a lot that's not been processed. And then sometimes it's, you know, some events happen and then all of a sudden, bam, there it goes.
Mm,
And try and stay strong. And that's why it's so important that we we express what's going on at some point when we feel
absolutely.
it, and that we give it the time, to cry and to talk or write about it. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and even when no one is
Absolutely.
listening, I mean, record a
Wow.
video, write it down.
Absolutely. Wow. It was really amazing conversation we were having. So yes, my kids are, yeah, I have to take care of them too. Like, I would love to continue having this conversation. I
Yeah,
really
we can.
appreciate for your time. I think we will have another live for another topic, maybe.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and maybe we can still do it about this topic another time this month. And
Maybe
I'm
about,
sorry if I kept on going. And
yeah,
I
maybe like about grieving or something, like that is, I think, I believe it is very important topic for, like a lot of people passed away because of the pandemic, because of so many things. And out there, I think there are a lot of people, who might resonate with this kind of topic as well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so for those who have questions, comments, please leave them. Post it underneath the video. And
We
yeah, we are going to continue this conversation.
some deep stuffs like today. I didn't expect I'm going to say those things really.
Yeah, I have a habit of getting people to talk about certain things.
Absolutely.
It's and people who have talked more with me, they know it, and all of them say the same thing. I didn't expect to talk about these things. And that's basically probably because there's this world of this word. It's a term called self-exposure,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I am vulnerable and you are listening to me, that probably triggers something on your part. And then you start
Mm.
talking about it too. And then when you do feel
Yes,
uncomfortable, I might ease it a little bit for you. And then you feel safe sharing about it because I did too. And I'm not judging you. And again,
yes,
I feel
absolutely.
like I've been talking like 85% of the time, probably.
No,
Um,
we were sharing equally.
oh,
So
oh, well,
absolutely. Yes.
I'm happy
I
about
feel
that.
absolutely, absolutely. I feel like I was talking a lot too, like.
Oh, that's
I
good.
feel the same way. Yes. So yes, have a wonderful evening. It is evening time for you. Even it might be morning, right?
Yeah, it's after midnight, so it's almost 1 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
It is
and
super
that's
late.
me. Once I get going, I've got something it's called hyper focus, and I just can keep on going. But then when I'm tired, I'm tired.
Wow. Yes, you look like it is morning time at your place.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
of course
yeah.
it is morning time already, right?
Yeah. So it's but yeah, like I said, it's after midnight, so it's
Without
going to
you
be another
sleeping.
5 hours before the light is back again.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, please take rest. And thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Well,
And
likewise, I really appreciate those conversations, and and this is also about courage, reaching out to one
absolutely,
another, like, okay, do you want to have this life? And then just going for it and seeing what happens. And if you can
absolutely.
do it, you out there, viewers, you can do it too.
Yes, absolutely. Have a wonderful Sunday for you.
Yes,
Saturday evening for me.
yes. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk soon again.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Much love. Bye.
bye
Yes.
bye.
Bye bye.